Welcome back. This is your man Warrior, and I am excited. This is probably going to be my favorite video of all videos that I'm doing. The ships thing we all knew was coming. We all knew that there was a ton of new features and characters and ships and all of that, but being able to showcase each one of these ships and go over the unique abilities. So I'm going to get into these ships here in just a second and kind of go over them, but there are some new unique effects in the game that you will not know about, and there are some new general effects in the game, and you got to kind of understand general effects and unique effects that are being added to the game before we go through these ships, because as we go through these ships, they're going to start to talk about these abilities, and you're going to be like, what in the heck is he talking about when he says target lock? I don't understand what target lock is. So that is what we are going to do today. So the reason for this video is going to be to show you the ships, show you their abilities, and go over the general effects and the unique effects so you guys can walk away with a confident knowledge that you know what ships you want to go for, because every ship's going to be unique. So some general effects that you're going to see that you've never heard of before. The first, target lock. A target lock is a debuff, okay? It's going to actually inflict a debuff onto them. Now, the target lock debuff in and of itself doesn't actually do anything. It's kind of like targeting a character. You can't do certain things to that ship until it's been target locked. Once it's target locked, then other abilities that you try to use will have special bonuses and things like that. So target lock in and of itself, the general effect, it's just a debuff, but it's going to basically be a key for other abilities. Once the ship has it, it's going to unlock and gain, they're going to gain special bonuses versus the locked targets, or they'll give unique bonuses like, you know, crit damage and debuffs, things like that. So it's going to be something that you kind of almost, like it's called target lock, paint the target with a lock, and then you'll be able to open up new and great opportunities and abilities against that particular target. The second one is called Daze. Daze is a new general effect that is a debuff. Just like target lock's a debuff, Daze is a debuff, but Daze actually does something. The debuff, it prevents any extra turn meter or any extra bonus attacks. Now, what Daze is cool for is we know that in ships that there are going to be these fleet commanders. Let's go back into ships and go down. There's going to be these fleet commanders right here at the bottom, like Home 1, Executrix, I think, and Endurance, right? Executrix, Endurance, and Home 1. And they're going to have some pretty cool abilities. Well, one of the abilities on here, let's see if I can find it. So there's Master Plan. Master Plan's awesome. We're going to go over that here in a second. It's very, very cool. But they get to, you know, have extra turns and extra damage. And so what's crazy about that is there's a few of these ships that are going to give certain teams bunches of bonuses of turns and extra turn meter, and you're not going to want that. So when you inflict Daze on them, you're going to be throwing a wrench into their plans of being able to get extra turn meter and bonus attacks. Basically, also, this is the other reason, is it's going to help prevent them from chaining multiple attacks together. So there's a lot of different ways to chain multiple attacks together in the ships. You're going to have you know, counters, ships that counter. You're going to have assists, ships that have special abilities that call in assists. And you're also going to have multiple attacks, multi-attacks. And Daze, the general effect called Daze, is going to prevent all of that. So if you can inflict that native status effect onto another ship, they're not going to get to participate in the extra turn meter or the bonus attacks in the form of counters, assists, multi-attacks. So Daze is absolutely critical, especially when going against Home 1, which is Admiral Akbar's main ship. When people are using that, the Daze is going to be probably your favorite debuff. So there are two other general effects that are kind of coming into play. One of which you already kind of know about, which is protection up. You've probably seen that. I think it's with Chief Nebit, where he gives another random player protection up. Now they are going to enhance it once they launch this, and what they're going to do is basically it's added protection on top of your protection. So they're giving you additional protection on top of your protection. It's like a buffer or a sponge, if you will, and it's going to be purple in color. So you're going to know what is the protection up versus your protection, and it will be used for so many turns. You'll get protection up for, let's say, 2 turns. You'll have that purple there to absorb damage for those couple of turns before it ever gets to your existing protection. And at the end of 2 turns, if that protection up expires and there is still purple protection, that purple protection will drop off, and the rest of your protection will maintain. Now, they are going to, like I said, they are going to enhance that just a little bit in the game, so that way people can kind of tell when something has protection up and how much of it is left. The other general effect that they're adding that has to do with protection, which is really, really cool, is protection recharge. Now, this is something we were asked, people have asked this question over and over and over. Can you do anything where protection kind of comes back? Because we know you got healers for health, but you don't have anything for protection. Can the healers bring back protection? They're not planning on letting healers heal protection, but they do have a new general effect called protection recharge, which is essentially kind of like a heal over time. It's going to give you a little bit every single turn, like healing over time gave you health over turn. So it's not going to be a ton, but it's going to be every turn for a couple of turns where it recharges your protection level. So that is really cool. Protection recharge. Protection up, where you're giving other people additional protection, and that will be the purple protection over your character. Daze, which is a debuff to prevent them from getting all that extra turn meter, and of course the extra bonuses. And then of course target lock, which in and of itself does nothing, but what it does is it opens up the ability for other abilities to actually be granted and take effect. So that is the general effects. Now, I want to get into these ships really, really bad with you guys, but I got to go over the unique effects. We'll hit the unique effects first. And so let's just go ahead and go through the unique effects, because this is crazy. So we'll start with the home one. Home one has 4 abilities and then has a crew unique ability on the top left. You can see there's a crew unique ability. When you click on it, it says, this is absolutely crazy. Whenever an ally attacks out of turn, they'll have 40% critical damage and gain protection up for, which is plus 25% protection up for 2 turns. These bonuses are doubled for rebel allies. That's protection up for, I'm guessing, 4 turns and 80% critical damage for rebel allies. That is absolutely crazy. And it says for rebel allies, it says reinforcement bonus. Reinforcements gain advantage for 1 turn. So that's going to actually give the reinforcements on your squad advantage for 1 turn. So that is a guaranteed critical. Advantage gives them a guaranteed crit. And it says whenever they attack out of turn, which the reinforcements will, they are going to have additional critical damage and gain protection up. So they're going to come into the fight instantly critting, instantly doing more damage, and instantly beefier and stronger. And these bonuses double for rebel allies. Obviously, this ship is designed to be ran with other rebel ships. So that is very cool. This first ability, the Mon-Call Cannons, deals physical damage to a target enemy and calls a random ally to assist. This is where Daze would take effect. You would want to daze these characters, so that way when he does his basic ability, whoever he calls to assist gets denied that assist. But that is really cool. On his basic, he's going to deal the damage and call an ally to assist. Also, he has Defiant Volley. Defiant Volley is very cool. It has a cooldown of 4, which is, plenty in this battle, and it's going to deal special damage to all enemies. This is an AoE, and call up to 2 buffed allies to assist. So you're buffing your characters, giving them all these awesome abilities, and then in turn, they're getting to have multiple assists. Now, again, you can see where these negative status effects like daze are going to take place, because the idea of chaining multiple attacks together is really the rebels' call. That is what they do, is they counter, they assist, they multi-attack, and this is what's giving them those abilities. Master Plan is very, very cool. It says all allies are going to gain 30% turn meter. Boom, they all get 30% turn meter, and the Master Plan buff for 1 turn. So this is absolutely crazy. I'm going to read Master Plan to you, and then I'm going to actually explain it to you so you can kind of get it. Master Plan, it says after this unit uses an ability during its turn, that's any ability they have, probably a basic attack more than likely, their cooldowns are going to be reset. All of their cooldowns will be reset, and they gain 100% turn meter. This ability starts on cooldown. So basically, Master Plan, you use it, it's got a cooldown of 5, right? Well, it gives this to a unit, and after they use their basic, attack or ability, they get 100% turn meter and instant reset of all cooldowns, which essentially Master Plan gives them basically 2 turns in a row. Just boom, boom, 2 turns in a row. And you get to decide what 2 turns, because they get to use their abilities and have all their cooldowns reset. So if they have a really powerful special attack, you can use that really powerful special attack, and as long as they have Master Plan on them, they will get to immediately use that powerful attack over again immediately, this is even better than Admiral Ackbar's ability, because for him, he doesn't reset their cooldowns. He's just giving them that extra turn, and so this is going to reset those cooldowns, guaranteeing that they get to use whatever they want a second time. So that is really awesome, and that's Master Plan. And then the very last one for him is Seize the Advantage. This dispels all debuffs on target ally. That ally recovers 35% health and 35% protection, and all other allies gain advantage for 2 turns. So that is very, very cool, because it's giving all other allies not only a buff, but that buff gives them, guaranteed crits, and it dispels all the debuffs on a particular ally that you choose, and it gives them the health and protection back. So really, he's kind of like a healer in this sense, and he's going to buff the other team. And so he's, again, in the same lines of what Admiral Ackbar does in the game, just on another level with ships. So this is very, very cool. Home 1. So I'm going to do this video of these bottom 3 ships, and then I will do a follow-up video on some of these other ships so you can see all the different ships. But there's so many ships that we're not going to be able to cover them all in this video. So Executrix, I think I'm saying that right. That is probably the most iconic ship in the entire game. The Dark Side, of course, owns this. It's a capital ship, of course, and it's the Empire's. And the crew is Grand Moff Tarkin, and he has a unique on the top left, which is called Victory at All Costs. It says allies deal 15% more damage for each debuffed enemy. So the idea here is you're going to debuff your opponents as much as possible, and then you're going to he is going to give you additional damage because they're debuffed. This bonus is, of course, doubled for Empire allies. So you're going to build this around an Empire team, which everybody wants more Empires, so that is exciting. And so you're going to get 30% more damage for every debuffed enemy. That's absolutely crazy, because that's every ally is going to deal 30% more damage per debuffed team member. So if you've got 5 people debuffed, that's 150% more damage that every ally, as long as they're Empire, are doing. That is absolutely crazy special ability. Also, it has a reinforcement bonus. This gives it specifically to your reinforcements within the game that are the 4 slots at the bottom of your ship's selection. And it says reinforcements will gain potency up for 1 turn. So it's going to give them potency up, and then they're going to apply negative status effects, so that the way the top part helps them do much more damage. It's just absolutely crazy, the stacking effects that they have on here, which is very cool. And their reinforcement will come in, get that bonus, and then of course when you hopefully your reinforcement does apply some negative status effects. So the first ability, his basic, is a turbo laser batteries. Turbo laser batteries deal physical damage to a target enemy and exposes them for 2 turns. That's a debuff, so there you go. His basic is going to expose the target for 2 turns, so that's pretty cool. Heavy ion cannons. This is very awesome as well. It has a cooldown of 4. It's an AoE, so it's going to deal physical damage to all enemies with a 55% chance to inflict ability block for 1 turn. That is excellent. Ability block in this game is definitely underrated. A lot of people don't realize the benefit of it, and those who do love to use it, both with IG-88 or with Obi-Wan or with Luminara. They love ability block. I'm not sure a lot of people use Boba Fett for that, but Boba Fett for sure has ability block. So really there's a lot of characters that have it. This is an excellent ability with that. More than half the time he's going to inflict ability block. And that's to every single person. So it's probably going to proc or happen, 2 or 3 times out of the 5 ships you're targeting. So 2 or 3 of them are going to get, and sometimes it's going to proc and you're going to get all 5 with abilities blocked. So that would be cool. This attack deals 35% more damage to debuffed enemies. And of course we know the name of the game, Empire is going to debuff the heck out of the other team. The other team's going to be trying to take bunches of extra turns. And that's just kind of how they've built these. So everybody has their own strength. Everybody has their own weakness. The next special is called Imperial Assault. It has a 5 cooldown. That's not going to come around more than once probably in a battle. It will deal physical damage 12 times to random enemy targets. That is just crazy, because he's going to send an Imperial Assault, a bunch of ships in, all these TIE pilots are going to come in, and they're going to do 12 times, they're going to do random damage to random enemy targets. Target locked enemies. Now, we talked about target lock being a debuff that in and of itself doesn't do anything. But it does give you access to do this ability. So the target would have to have target lock on it. So let's assume you've inflicted target lock on your opponents. It says any target locked enemy are also stunned for 1 turn, and this ability starts on cooldown. So that is really, really, really cool, as the target lock is going to unlock a stun ability, in addition to the fact that he can also do ability block with his other ability, this AoE here. So I mean, that is just crazy, because these are both AoEs. I mean, this one does 12 times to random targets, and so 2 AoEs, one does stunning if they're target locked, and the other one does ability block. So that's really cool. The last one has a cooldown of 3, so this should happen once or twice at least, at a minimum, in a battle, and it gives all allies 40% turn meter and offense up for 1 turn. That is really, really good. Empire allies also gain potency up for 1 turn. This ability starts on cooldown. So all allies are going to gain turn meter and offense up. Offense up is great anytime you can get that as a bonus, and 40% turn meter add, that is freaking awesome. And then Empire allies also going to gain that potency up. So he's going to ensure that all of those negative status effects you're trying to apply actually get applied. And I think he's, toting one of the coolest ships in the entire game, if you ask me. I think the art design, the graphics on this are absolutely on point. And look at the blueprints in the background. I mean, that just looks awesome. I cannot wait to unlock this and play it and check it out and actually level it up to where it is in this developer build, because obviously this is not my my characters. My characters are not all maxed out like this. So the last ship I'm going to go over on this video, and then we'll do a couple other videos on the other ships, is Endurance. Endurance is very, very cool. It is a light side ship. It's a capital ship. It's a Republic and a Jedi ship. It's got a special ability for the crew power, the unique over here convergence. It says each ally gains damage, immunity, and offense up for 1 turn. And so damage, immunity, this is going to be really, really, like, I got to explain this to you guys because this is absolutely crazy. They get damage, immunity, and offense up for 1 turn. Now, do you see where it has a cooldown of 15? The cooldown of 15 means that it's not going to probably happen, but I got to come back to this because you guys are going to be completely blown away by Endurance and what it does. So the first thing, strike true, and I'm going to explain damage immunity because it is exactly what it sounds like. It's horrible. You will not take damage. And so if that happens, your opponent has the ship, and if Endurance gets it down, those 15 counters down, and it goes off, it's pretty much assured you're done. You've lost the battle. If you give them damage immunity through allowing that unique ability to happen, you're screwed. So we'll go back to crew power in a second. So True Strike, it deals physical damage to a target enemy and inflicts target lock for 2 turns. So just on its basic, it's going to give target lock. Now, why that's really, really cool and why it's important is, of course, you want to inflict target lock on as many ships as possible so you can open up the window of other really, really cool abilities that these other ships can inflict, right? So let's go to the next ability. It's called Fortune Favors the Bold. This is going to get absolutely crazy, okay? So its cooldown is a 4. It's going to deal physical damage to a target enemy and all enemies affected by target lock. So his basics, smacking everybody, inflicting target lock for 2 turns, which ensures that there's at least going to be 2 or 3 ships that probably have target lock before you use this. And then it says, then grant all allies Valor for 2 turns. So Valor is a unique effect that goes onto all of your ships, and it says this ability's cooldown is reduced by 1 for each enemy struck. That is absolutely crazy because it's going to reduce that cooldown. Valor, this is the definition. It says it grants the Endurance 20% turn meter and reduce the ultimate ability's cooldown by 1 at the end of the turn. So let me just kind of go into this a little bit. Valor. So basically, Valor is applied to all your other ships, right? It speeds up the main ship unless you're targeting the ship with Valor. So you've got to decide, do you take out the ship that has Valor, or do you take out the ship that is really the biggest threat? It'll go on a ship and they'll use their turn, and after they use their turn, it will knock turn meter off of the Endurance, off that 15 turn cooldown, and it will reduce that cooldown by 1. So it reduces gives him turn meter, so his turns go faster. So he's going to be able to get through his turns faster, and it reduces the cooldowns on the ultimate ability. So you've got to decide, like, who am I going to attack? And while it has a long cooldown of 15, which is absolutely crazy. Once it goes off, it gives everybody on whoever has the Endurance total damage immunity, which is almost guaranteed. So yeah, this Fortune Favors the Bold is awesome. It's going to deal that physical damage and to target enemy and all enemies affected by target lock. So this is a potential AoE. And then it grants all allies Valor for 2 turns. This sucks because there's 5 allies. So now that's 5 cooldowns potentially reduced because there's 5 ships out there. So, I mean, I don't know. I honestly, personally, I think the Endurance is my favorite of the 3 ships. I really think it has the biggest opportunity to come in if you are tanky, to be able to survive, you know, a couple of rounds, to be able to come in and get that damage immunity and all but be assured of a victory. So Honor and Might, this is unique. It says allies with less than full health have plus 18% offense. So exceptional. Anybody that's health is already starting to be affected, they're going down, they get way more powerful in what they're hitting. It also says this is doubled for Republic allies. So expect the Republic allies to be a heavy force in this game as far as the ships are concerned. So, and that's 36% offense. That is awesome. Also, it says a reinforcement bonus. This is going to apply to your reinforcements that aren't in the game yet, but you've selected. It says reinforcements gain Valor for 2 turns. Dang, 2 turns, they'll have it on them. And again, Valor is going to grant the Endurance 20% turn meter and reduce the ability's cooldown, the ultimate ability's cooldown by 1 after they use an ability. So you got to decide, you know, who are you gonna take down? This is absolutely nuts. So that was Honor and Might. And then the last one, Hold Fast, has a cooldown of 3. It says target allies recover 48% protection, taunts, and gains critical hit immunity for 2 turns. What? What? This is the Shore Trooper, and I mean, truly, this is like a Shore Trooper built into this ship, and it's got this crazy ability called Thrust Reversal, which is just absolutely nuts. I don't know. Or Valor. It's just crazy. The ultimate ability with Valor. In the ultimate ability, this is absolutely nuts. But giving him almost 50% protection, taunts, and then they gain critical hit immunity. It means they're going to take hardly any damage. They're gonna be forced to take the damage because they're taunting, and they're going to gain a bunch of extra protection to take those non-crit hits that are coming in. So that is just absolutely crazy. But I think Endurance is my all-time favorites of these 3 ships, and these are the 3 main ships that they have. So I'm gonna go over these other ships on a couple other videos. There's so many of them, I just don't want to make, you know, an hour-long video on them. So as always, tell me what you think of these 3 main ships are your favorite, and I hope that you understand now the unique effects and the general effects a little bit better, so when you're reading through these, it's going to make a little bit more sense. As always, have yourselves a wonderful afternoon. Keep your gaming on. Warrior out.